Hey everyone, it's Q&A time. I'm Matt Ogus from legendsofesthetics.com. Taking a question from Instagram. Thank you, Jeffrey Roy. His question is, what got you So what got me into weightlifting? That's a different question from when I started weightlifting, I guess, which was September 2006. I was a sophomore in high school, 15 and a half years old. That means I've been working out for about 8 years formally. But what really got me into lifting and into weightlifting, I guess, was everything leading up to that point in my life, right? Since I didn't just out of nowhere, click the check on what class to take for my sophomore year, like PE or weight training. Oh yeah, weight training, YOLO. No, I really actually, there was something inside of me that kind of motivated me to really be interested in that. And if I didn't have that class, I'd be weight training outside of school. I think I kind of like my whole entire childhood, as well as middle school, early high school, kind of led up to me being a person that is really into weightlifting. When I was in elementary school, my brother Chris, I remember, he would assign me to do 500 push-ups like every single day. Sometimes he would forget. Sometimes he'd forget to check the logs. But he would have my other brother, Adam, actually sit there and watch me do these push-ups. I would actually have to sit down, or he would actually sit down, and no matter where we were, I'd be busting out push-ups 10 at a time. My brother Adam would write his signature next to a tally mark, and then as soon as I hit 10 tally marks, that meant 100 push-ups, he'd write a signature to verify that. And I usually would do sets of 10, 100 at a time, and then later on in the day I do more. And it was funny because sometimes I hated doing that, but a lot of times it was just, I loved it, and other times it was kind of just like a part of my daily ritual. It was just something that I did. It kind of started to feel normal. That I was just this kid that had to do like 500 push-ups. I was like in first grade, second grade, third grade, all throughout. I probably ended up stopping probably fourth or fifth grade because of housing situations and random reasons. But basically, I was stopped being assigned these push-ups. But aside from that, there's always been like this weird training mentality inside of me. Have I been into sports? Somewhat. I've never really been too deep I never really got into, honestly, organized sport. I never really I never was on like a high school basketball team or football team. I was in some recreational organized sport. Like in middle school, I played flag football with my team, and we won like the entire thing, I'm pretty sure. Either that or second place. When we were 7th graders, we killed it. We won like the whole damn thing. And in elementary school, the things that I was really good at were usually, things like, plus in elementary school, it's kind of a free-for-all anyways. When you play basketball, you barely pass the ball, this and that. But I was really good at running and pull-ups and push-ups and the physical fitness tests. And usually I would probably score the highest on the push-up type things, the pull-up type things. And I was probably within the top 3 of my class every year for running and stuff like that. And there's odds and ends that I was usually really, really good at. But for whatever reason, I didn't really have the drive to enter into like organized sport in middle or especially high school. I think what really contributed to me getting into weightlifting as well was picking up breakdancing, which was what I did in middle school quite a bit. When I was in 7th grade, there was an 8th grader. His name was Fee. He's actually kind of still local to me. He was just really talented at breakdancing, which back then, or you call it b-boying, b-boys call it b-boying, people on the outside call it breakdancing, but I'll just call it breakdancing. He was really good at breakdancing, and I saw it at the first dance, and I was like, oh my gosh, I want to get into that. And I started practicing and practicing and practicing. And the power moves in breakdancing are much like, it's almost like training the power lifts, right? There's certain things you do to aid the main lift, and then of course you practice the main lift quite often. You get better at it, you get stronger at it, your movements get cleaner over time, and there's just so many similarities when it comes to power moves and breakdancing, which is quite like, gymnastics in a way, with lifting weights and this kind of self-progression of lifting weights and your body strength and hypertrophy. So I kind of always had this thing of self-improvement. I would go on the internet and I'd research, you know, how to do these moves, how to get better at them, events in the area. I was really deep into it, much like I'm into my training these days. And then when I had a girlfriend in 7th grade, I remember I got dumped at the end of the year. Just, you know, really standard things. You know, you usually break up with your girlfriend or boyfriend at the end of like a year in high school or middle school. It happens all the time. Doesn't really mean anything, you just break up. But I kind of took that as an opportunity to like, okay, evaluate myself, and I'm gonna like build upon myself so that next year I'm even better. And working on my body, it's always felt like it's been a internal thing for me. It's kind of like just improving myself. And I guess I'm kind of lucky because quite often some of the reasons why most people, or a lot of reasons why a lot of people get into lifting weights or training or whatnot, is kind of like feeling inadequate or kind of insecure type feelings. And to an extent, we all are insecure and we live for insecurities or to cover those up. But, and I'm not trying to sound like I'm the shit, but I always felt like it was something just building upon myself and improving. And I never really looked at weight training to mask up negatives, but really just to increase and build upon positives, if that makes sense. Anyways, at the end, I get dumped. I really start getting interested in improving my physique for many different reasons, just to build upon my confidence, to build upon my physique, since it is a part of me. It's just another thing I can improve and make myself, I guess, just more attractive to ladies. But not just that, but it was something that I wanted for myself, kind of like to build upon myself. So, you know, I started doing abs like every freaking night that summer break. It came back in 8th grade, and I had a, you know, a decent six-pack. And it did make me, even though, you know, you don't go around showing your six-pack at school, it made me more confident with myself. And overall, it was beneficial. Of course, it didn't like just bring all the ladies this way, but the confidence that I kind of gained sort of through being able to accomplish something kind of aided towards being more social with girls and everything. Not that I was like the shit or the dude racking up all the chicks or anything like that, but you know, I wasn't a guy who didn't have any girlfriends. I'll just say I had, you know, girlfriends at that age. Anyways, it was interesting because my kind of like external motivation to start breakdancing ended up visiting the school in 8th grade. When I was in 8th grade, he was a freshman in high school. He comes back to visit, and I could tell that he had been working out, and I see the difference that he made physically. He was a skinny guy just like me, but then he came back, and like in my eyes, it would be like I came back like this physical form of compare like this to the average 8th grader, and imagine seeing that. You're the average 8th grader, just a skinny kid, and you see like this come up, and you're just like, no way, you used to look like me, now you're like that, what the hell, this is crazy, how'd you do it? Asking all these questions, and I was just impressed, and I didn't realize like, oh my gosh, you could really change that much. Obviously, he wasn't like, I doubt he gained that much muscle, but it seemed to me that it was like that big of a difference. And that kind of was an external motivator for me to be even more interested in working out eventually. At this point in time, I'd only been doing breakdancing and working on my abs, some biceps here and there, but then it kind of like got my interest into building up my entire body, just because I was just really drawn to it. It just seemed like cool. I was like, wow, like in your pastime, you're just building that muscle, and now look at you, like, my gosh, like you built something for yourself. Wow. So that ended up kind of getting me wanting to do weight training when I got into high school. My freshman year, I was still doing lots of breakdancing, still doing the abs things, but breakdancing was still kind of the main, my main attraction. And then in sophomore year of high school, that was when I could enlist in the high school's weight training class, and that's when things really took off, and I was able to learn weight training, get deep into it, and from there it's all been history. So it's been about 8 years now, this month actually, that I've been lifting weights. I started off as a skinny high schooler of 120 pounds, probably around, I'm not really sure how much body fat, 12% body fat. And if I was 12% body fat right now, which I'm a little bit above, I'd probably be around somewhere between 180 and 185. So I went from 120 to 185 or so, or 183, 184. And of course I grew in inches too. I was like a 4-foot midget, tiny person, and I'm 5'6.5" or so now. I just rounded 5'7" because it sounds better. So that's how I got into weight training. It's always really been something inside of me to kind of improve upon myself and to push myself. But I just realized a few days ago that I actually did have a person who was an external motivator that kind of made me even more interested in weightlifting. And aside from that, I honestly really haven't had like people that were kind of like these figures who I wanted to transform myself into. Because I guess from the beginning I realized like I can only kind of like build upon myself, and these people are these people. I can't be them, but I can always build upon myself and see what happens. And I guess from doing my abs things back when I was in 7th and 8th grade, I always knew from then on that like it's me and myself when it comes to improving your body, your strength, your physique. It's just you and you. That's it. There's what someone else does doesn't affect you. And that's another reason why I was so drawn to it, because it was all about what you do, the effort, the food, etc. And I love it. I love weightlifting. That's how I got into weightlifting, man. And hope you enjoyed this video. Big shout out to my sponsor, Gymshark. I got my pants on right now, as well as legendsofesthetics.com. Gymshark.com, legendsofesthetics.com. Matt Ogus signing off. Much love, guys. Thanks.